Welcome to AZPM News Daily, a wrap-up of all the day's news from Arizona Public Media. I'm Steve Jess, and on our Monday podcast, conservationists object as bulldozers clear historic trees for more border wall. Savannah Guthrie pleas for her mother's release.
Do the right thing now. Make the right choice.
And a landmark in the town of Safford changes hands.
We've been trying to sell for about a year and a half. It's a slow process.
That's ahead on this Monday, July 17th, 2026. Starting us off today, conservationists are decrying continued border wall construction in rural Santa Cruz County as contractors begin to encroach on a historic grove of cottonwood trees in the small ranching community of Loquil. Videos circulating on social media showed construction equipment tearing down greenery in the area. Residents say the trees are at least a century old. Kate Scott of the nonprofit Madrean Archipelago Society says 3 historic cottonwood trees were torn down this morning. As of this afternoon, contractors were continuing to clear vegetation and debris. It comes as the Department of Homeland Security plans to build a double barrier along most of Arizona's southern border. Nearly 6 months after her mother's disappearance from her Catalina Foothills home, Today Show host Savannah Guthrie posted another video pleading for help. L.M. Boyd has the latest.
It's the family's latest plea about 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie since her disappearance on February 1st. Savannah Guthrie said her family will never stop looking for her.
The world can be a cruel and unforgiving place, and I know that you have tried to do things the right way. So I'm asking you, begging you, to do the right thing now. Make the right choice. Help us find her. Tell us where to look for her.
Investigators found blood near the front doorstep of Nancy Guthrie's home, and the FBI later released surveillance videos showing a masked man on the porch that night. L.M. Boyd, AZPM News.
The U.S.-Mexico border is set to reopen to cattle starting in Arizona after a more than year-long closure to protect against the New World screwworm parasite. News of the reopening comes nearly 2 months after the first confirmed case of the flesh-eating maggot in the United States. The border is set to reopen to livestock on August 24th, according to the Department of Agriculture, starting with the Agua Prieta Douglas crossing from Sonora into Arizona. The state of Sonora, which is directly south of Arizona, has not reported any cases of the parasite. Sonora's important ranching sector has been calling on American officials to reopen the border, pointing to the state's clean bill of health when it comes to the screwworm, and now the parasite's presence on both sides of the border. Roughly 1 in 5 of Arizona adults are at moderate to high risk of becoming problem gamblers, according to a new report from state gaming officials. Matthew Casey reports.
A problem gambler has behavior patterns that compromise, disrupt, or damage relationships and activities. Extreme problem gambling leads to addiction, recognized by the American Psychiatric Association. A survey of about 1,000 Arizona adults found roughly 6% of respondents said most of the time or almost always they try to win back lost money. Another roughly 6% reported betting more than they could afford to lose. The report recommends early screening for problem gambling be increasingly integrated into behavioral health settings. Matthew Casey, Phoenix.
Arizona voters will select a lieutenant governor for the first time in this November's general election. Democratic Governor Katie Hobbs and Republican challenger Andy Biggs have until September 4th to reveal who their running mates will be. Tucson Agenda reporter Joe Ferguson says the current order of succession has the Arizona Secretary of State taking over if the governor steps down, as happened in 2009.
When we had Jan Napolitano, a Democrat who's popular, who left, we got Jan Brewer, who is a very different kind of Republican. And so now we're putting in place this lieutenant governor position that allows a different kind of order in place.
Brewer assumed the role of governor from her position of Secretary of State and went on to sign the controversial Senate Bill 1070, which critics said allowed racial profiling in immigration cases. Having a lieutenant governor ensures the next in line for the governor's office shares the governor's political viewpoint. Arizona Republicans are suing over the language used on the November ballot to describe a party-backed measure that would protect the school voucher program. Kathy Ritchie reports.
In a new lawsuit, Republican leaders argue the language that Attorney General Chris Mays has approved to appear on the actual ballot is skewed in a way to convince people to vote against Prop 145. That measure is billed as protecting voucher funds for children of military families. But it also contains language that would override any other voter-approved measure that would limit the state's universal voucher program. And that's what Mays approved to describe Prop 145. It spells out that if passed, it would kill the Protect Education Act, which aims to reform the program. Kathy Ritchie, Phoenix.
President Donald Trump has endorsed Republican Secretary of State candidate Alexander Kolodin. The president didn't endorse any candidates for statewide races ahead of the primary election, apart from Republican Congressman Andy Biggs, who is running for governor and also won his primary race. Kolodin ran against former Arizona Republican Party Chair Gina Swoboda, whom Trump had endorsed multiple times before, including when she ran for the state party chair and when she first campaigned to run for Congress before switching to the Secretary of State's race. Kolodin will go on to face incumbent Democrat Adrian Fontes in the November election. Jenny Howard, the mayor of Thatcher, Arizona, was re-elected last week, continuing her role as the town's first female mayor in its 135-year history. The day after her re-election, Howard also finalized the sale of Genevieve's, the Safford market and restaurant she's owned for 13 years.
Shock, really. I mean, we've been trying to sell for about a year and a half. It's a slow process, and we've gone through several buyers, and it just, everything just fell into place. It happened very fast.
A condition of the sale was that the business keep its name, hours, and historic building unchanged. The new buyers happen to be bakers, and Howard says they've already released a menu of baked goods. Howard says selling the business will give her more time to focus on her next term as Thatcher continues to grow. And now you're caught up on the stories we've covered today at Arizona Public Media. Thanks for listening. You can subscribe to AZPM News Daily wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Steve Jess, and we'll be back tomorrow.